Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cooks by Carrie. If you're new here, I'm Carrie, and for today's Foodie Friday video, I am sharing how to make this delicious banana bread with chocolate chips from myrecipes.com. This banana bread is truly the best in all of the land, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make it. For today's recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a teaspoon baking soda, a half a teaspoon salt, a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of butter softened, 2 large eggs, 1.5 cups of mashed ripe banana, which is about 3 bananas. However, for this recipe, I chose to do about 5. A third cup of plain low-fat yogurt, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. I use about 2, but just use as much as your heart desires. You're also going to need cooking spray or butter to line your loaf pan. And then I also added in about a teaspoon of cinnamon and about a cup of chocolate chips. To start off this recipe, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then in a small bowl, you want to combine all the dry ingredients, which is going to be the flour, baking soda, and salt, and stir with a whisk. Now to those dry ingredients, I'm going to add in my cinnamon and mix to combine, again going in with the whisk. It is important when measuring your dry ingredients to use a big spoon and scoop them all out into the measuring cups. This is because sometimes when you just go directly in with the measuring cup, you can kind of overweigh the flour and get like too much flour in the cup. So try and use an extra spoon. I know it's annoying, but it's worth it. Now, before I continue with this video, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, comment down below if you'd like to see next, share this video with a friend, and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. I have a goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we're about a quarter of the way there, so if you could please subscribe, it helps me so much. Also, hit that like button, it also helps a lot. Alrighty, let's continue with the video. Now, in a large bowl, you're going to combine your butter and your sugar. Now, you're not going to get that traditional, super creamy, all combined butter at the end of your mixing because the butter to sugar ratio is it's not usually where there's like 2 sticks of butter and then like a cup of sugar or so. In this recipe, it's only a 1/4 cup of butter, which means half of a stick, and there's way more sugar, a cup of sugar to be exact. So you're kind of going to get a mixture that is mostly almost crummy texture. But the thing is, when you add in those eggs and vanilla, the recipe is going to transform and you're going to get a nice creamy mixture. So it is okay to not have that super all mixed together mix. It can be a little bit crummy. Now it is time to add in the eggs one at a time. Let's talk about banana bread for a second. Banana bread is a super convenient, easy breakfast snack or dessert. I love waking up and having that nice slice of banana bread. It is perfect if you toast it a bit in the either an air fryer or an oven or a toaster. It tastes even like crispy outside and a nice gooey center. Or just eating it plain on its own. It is so delicious and so convenient, especially if you have a bunch of people to make breakfast for. Also, it is the perfect use for those almost, I don't want to say rotten bananas because that sounds bad, but those overripe, that's the right word. Overripe bananas. I mean, you want them almost blackened to make this recipe. When they get that nice, like, dark color, in the inside, they're going to be like almost way sweeter, way mushier, and perfect for this recipe. But let's say you have a hankering for banana bread, but all your bananas are only just not overripe yet. I'm going to give you a little tip. You can set your oven to like around 350, I'm going to say. Place the bananas in on a tray, an oven tray. Cook them for like 10 minutes and they will get that dark color all around them. You pull them out, let them cool, overripe bananas instantly. That's a little tip for you guys. So yeah, as you can see, now the mixture's gone all creamy from the eggs, and it's going to be about time to add in the vanilla and some of the other ingredients. Now it's time to add in all the bananas, the yogurt, and the vanilla. If you do not have any yogurt on you, I believe, I haven't tested this out, but I'm sure you could use sour cream. It's going to you wouldn't really taste it. It's just going to give it the same kind of texture. So that is a substitute that might work. Not going to guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure it would work, like 99% sure. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I did use 5 bananas instead of 3. I had so many ripe ones that I was like, I kind of want to do more. honestly, the banana bread turned out great. I would not. I mean, you can do 3, you could do 5. Honestly, I think that it fit in the loaf pan, so really as many as your heart desires, but I maybe wouldn't do more than 5. Maybe he said like a 3 to 5 limit, because the recipe said 1.5 cups of bananas, and I had about 2 cups. I think 2 cups worked, so maybe anywhere between 1.5 to 2. Also, if you're like me and you love like getting a chunk of banana when you eat the bread, I recommend only slightly mashing them. Like mashing them up, but make sure that you leave some of the pieces in there. Like you can kind of tell in mine, there are some bigger chunks, and that's just what I want because when you bite into that bread, it's like gooey and it's just delicious. And anyway, I added the bananas last, and then you just want to mix it up. I was kind of careful about it, though because I didn't want to get them too mixed up. It's kind of just like to incorporate it all. And then we're going to add in the dry ingredients. Now it is time for the last step before the chocolate chips. Pour in those dry ingredients and mix again. Mix until it's just combined, and then I'm going to go in at the end with my spatula and make sure that all of the ingredients have been combined. Because after all, no one wants to get just a chunk of flour when they eat the bread. Now it's time to add in the chocolate chips. I use semi-sweet chocolate chips, and at the beginning I reserved for the side, but then I realized I kind of want some more, so I just went in with some new ones at the end. So I would say maybe about a cup to put in, and then maybe like an eighth of a cup to sprinkle on top. This step is totally optional. If you want to do this too, and you're not big, you don't have a huge sweet tooth, I would also recommend reducing the amount of sugar to about 3/4 of a cup if you're gonna add in the chocolate chips. Now I didn't do that because I like a sweet bread, but if you're trying to, be careful about the sweetness or you just don't want that much sugar, go ahead and reduce it a little bit. And now it is time to pour it into the pan. As you can see, I just dumped it all into the pan. My pan was already pre-greased with butter all around it. You could put in a piece of parchment paper if you really felt like it, but I just kind of didn't want to today, so I didn't. But feel free to, I think you could foil line too, but I'd recommend parchment paper if you're going for that type of lining, or just heavily grease the sides and just pour it all in. And it looks pretty full, but the thing is, it's only gonna rise to have like kind of like a dome on top, so it's not gonna rise too much. So you can fill it up all the way to the top. And then you'll see I'm gonna go back in with some more chocolate chips on the top because the chocolate chips, they're really dispersed all around. And I would say 1 cup is perfect if you're like you love chocolate chips and banana bread. If you kind of just want a sprinkling, you could just do a half a cup, or you could skip them all together. Some other good combinations would be like walnuts in this would be delicious, or raisins. Those might also be pretty good. I've seen those online too. You can really just add in like whatever you want, any toppings. I mean, that's appropriate for a dessert like this, and as much as your heart desires. And now off into the oven it goes. I'm putting it in at 350, and it's gonna cook in here for about an hour. Mine did take the full. I'm gonna say it maybe took an hour and 5 minutes, something like that. Just start checking. Honestly, you can start checking at 45 minutes to an hour just to double check, and then after that hour, it's time to pull it out. Look how beautiful it is. It was just looking so good. It was like super nice and golden brown on the edges. You could see the chocolate chips. It kind of got like a little, kind of like a cut down the middle, and you could see the insides. And I mean, look at this bread. This is like so beautiful. The chocolate's all melty on the top. This is to die for. Now I let my banana bread cool for 1 whole hour. I know, 1 whole hour is a long amount of time. But if you want to get these clean slices, you gotta do it at least an hour. If not, 3 hours, if not, even overnight. I mean, overnight's a little bit of a stretch. You just have to wait a few hours. But you can see that I'm going with the end piece first, and it was a little messy to get out. I'm gonna be honest, after an hour, it's still a little bit warm. It's still a little bit melty on the chocolate front. But I just took a big bread knife and then 2 knives to carefully get out the edges. And I would say you can get, I'm going to say you can get between 8 and upwards of maybe 12 slices out of this banana bread. It depends how generous you go. Because, like, if you're doing smaller pieces, I think you could get at least 10, maybe 12. If you're doing bigger pieces, I would say you could probably get 8 bigger pieces. So yeah, just continue cutting until you've cut all the bread. Now you can see here, after I'd cut most of it, my dad was just helping me move it to the center. But see, you can see there's a bigger piece in that upper right corner, and then some smaller ones in the rest of the slots. It's just really as big as you want them, but look at the chocolate, it's everywhere, it's delicious. It's all, still a little bit, I almost said runny. No, it's not runny, it's just a little bit melty right now. It is so good. The very center pieces are a little bit mushy inside if you're looking for the mushy. The outer sides are a little more crispy. It is so delicious, and I highly, highly, highly recommend this recipe. I've been using it for years, and I have never searched for another recipe because this is it. Alrighty, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram at Cooks by Carrie. I post lots of fun photos of the food I cook. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. And I'll see you next Friday for a new Foodie Friday video. As always, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below, or any thoughts on this recipe or anything like that. I'll be happy to respond to the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.